this is Joanna and I'm back today with another video. And today I'm creating a clean and simple card, and I'm using this stamp set from Mama Elephant and also a splash stencil. And I'm working with Copic friendly paper. This is from Simon Says Stamp and it's really thick. I really love it. And this stamp set is not new. It has been out for quite a while, but it's new to me. I really love all of the critters, and the sentiments are great in this set, I think. So I'm starting out by stamping my sentiment, and I use my Fiskars stamp press to do that. And I'm stamping my sentiment with Versafine. It's a really black and crisp ink. And since I haven't used this stamp before, I'm just trying it off on a scrap piece of paper first to make sure that it stamps really nice. And then I just ink up my stamp again. And I use the grids on my mat and also the grids on my stamp press to make sure to line up my sentiment. And now it's time to stamp the little hedgehog. And I'm stamping this with Memento ink because I'm going to do some copy coloring. And I could of course stamp my sentiment with Memento as well. I'm not sure why I picked the Versafine. I usually use Versafine when I'm stamping sentiments because I think the outcome is really great, but I think this would have worked just as fine with Memento. So I'm stamping my little hedgehog, and I'm also stamping a small balloon so he holds the balloon. And now it's time to color him in, and this is really easy copy coloring. This is such a small image, so there's nothing to fuss about here. And just before you saw that I used my heat gun, so I just went over the image and the sentiment a little bit to make sure that the ink was dry. And I went outside of the lines with the balloon, so I'm just using my colorless blender to push the ink back. And now it's time to create a splash with the stencil. And I'm using two shades of Distress ink. I'm using Peacock Feathers, that's my favorite color of all times, and also the Tumbled glass. So I'm putting my stencil in place and I'm using some tape to hold it down. And this tape is post-it tape, but if you don't have post-it tape, washi tape will work just as fine. And I'm starting with the lightest color, and I'm using my mini ink blending tool to apply the color. And if you are interested in any of the supplies that I used in this video, I will link them down below or over at my blog, and you will find that address in the YouTube description as well. So here I am moving on to the dark color, the Peacock Feathers, and I'm just filling it into the stencil. And I'm trying to keep the middle quite light, but I didn't do a good job actually, but I think it turned out great anyway. So I really like Peacock Feather. So. And I don't know if you can hear it, but my dog is actually drinking water right now, so if you are wondering about the sound in the background, it's my dog. And here I'm just cleaning off the surface. And I want to have another splash as well, or at least some of the smaller ones. So I'm taping the stencil back in place again, and this is where I made a mistake. I only added the stencil, I didn't cover up the card base. So as you can see, I made a booby there, so I went outside of the stencil. So it's a straight edge right there, and it doesn't look good, but I don't want to toss the entire card. So I'm making more of them, more of these straight lines, so it looks like I intended them to be there. I think the card would have looked better if I didn't do that, but it's better than throw the card away, I think. And then I use my We Are Memory Keepers corner rounder to round the edges. And I used the lighter of the two to ink up the edges also. And then I use my Peacock Feather, the darkest one, just a tiny bit in the bottom edges. And I decided that the card needed something else, so I'm pulling out my sequins. And these sequins are also from Simon's Stamp. In the bag, this is you get a lot of different sizes, and I'm using the smaller ones. And I'm adhering them in place with my multi-matte medium, or is it medium multi-matte? I don't know, I can't remember, but I will list it in the supply list. So I'm taking my tweezers and I'm just dipping it into the glue, and then I'm adhering them to the card. And this glue is really great because it dries matte, so even though if it oozes out, it doesn't show when it dries. And I'm also using my Wink of Stella to adhere some glitter to the hedgehog and to the balloon. And this is the card for today. I hope that you liked it, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!